headlines for tonight. Stronger labor ties between the Philippines and Croatia tackled during the state visit of Croatian envoy.
The House of Representatives approved 6.7 trillion budget bill for 2026, noting that unprogrammed funds are still included.
The Department of Budget and Management defends unprogrammed funds in the General Appropriations Act as financial lifeline during crisis.
Former House Speaker Martin Romualdez assures full cooperation in the investigation of the Independent Commission for Infrastructure.
Hostages and prisoners exchanged between Israel and Hamas officially kicks off. Good evening, bring the latest news for tonight. I am ALVIN PELOBELLO.
And I am KRIZZA Lopez. This is Eurotv News Thread. The details on our broadcast. The Philippines and Croatia are strengthening their labor relations with over 200 Filipino workers set for deployment under a government-to-government employment program.
During the visit of Croatian Foreign Minister Gordon Radman, both nations vowed to expand opportunities for OFWs and deepen cooperation in labor, education, and maritime sectors. More from this report.
37-year-old Maria previously worked at a restaurant in Dubai, and this will be her second time being deployed to work abroad. But this time, she'll be deployed to Croatia.
Undergraduate ko kasi ako ng nursing. So, nag-take ako housekeeping din. Pero mas ko ngayon yung food and beverage ko. Since sa Dubai kasi yun ang naging work ko. Sobrang big help ko kasi hindi ko naman sinasabi na hindi kikitain sa Pilipinas. Pero talagang napakalaking opportunity rin para sa akin. Para mag-gain ako ng mga experiences pa.
Ryan, a first-timer to work abroad, also applied to the Department of Migrant Workers program. They will now be in place for the final interview with the Croatian government as a waiter. The monthly salary promised to them by the Croatian government has a starting rate of more than 50,000 pesos.
So as a fresh graduate po, Croatia po ang napili ko kasi ito po ay pinakamagandang country, such a beautiful country. And then, isa pong magandang opportunity po para sa akin, for my family. Sa Philippines po kasi ang minimum wage po, hindi po siya makapagkasya sa family ko.
They are just a few of more than 200 Filipinos who will be sent to Croatia under a government-to-government deal between the two countries. As a mandate from President Marcos Jr., the government will further strengthen the good relations between the two countries, particularly in bilateral cooperation.
Just a few months ago, the governments of the Philippines and Croatia launched a landmark initiative, the Implementing Guidelines for the Pilot Project on the Recruitment and Employment of Filipino Hotel Workers in Croatia, that was signed and followed by the Government-to-Government or G2G pilot hiring program, providing job opportunities for Filipino workers in Croatia's thriving hospitality sector.
During the visit of Croatian Foreign Ministry and European Affairs, Gordon Radman to the Philippines, they hope to further expand the relations between Croatia and the Philippines when it comes to opening more job opportunities for Filipinos or overseas Filipino workers. The Croatian envoy also recognized the skills of OFWs and stressed the need to deepen cooperation in the fields of science, education, manufacturing, and maritime industries.
And we will open a new page of our cooperation starting on even right now. This stage modest, but the potential for deepening cooperation areas across several strategic sectors. Namely, this includes, as I mentioned, the labor and employment sector.
The Philippine government is also ready to cooperate with Croatia to ensure the safety and well-being of approximately 16,000 Filipinos based in Croatia.
Every time we deploy Filipinos, there's a BLA or bilateral labor agreement. That alone is a document that ensures the protection of our Filipinos. Usually, social security agreements are coming from the Philippines, but this is really different. It was Croatia who gave us their draft zero, and now we're just reacting to it.
Few months ago, the Philippines and Croatia has signed deal to deepen bilateral cooperation in the field of labor. This is ALVIN PELOBELLO for Eurotv News.
The House of Representatives has passed the 6.7 trillion budget bill for 2026, with Speaker Boji D noting that no hidden funds were included. However, the opposition group expressed dismay over the presence of 243 billion pesos in a program appropriations fund, stating it is a problematic provision. More from this report.
The House of Representatives has approved on third and final reading the proposed 6.7 trillion pesos General Appropriations Bill for 2026. A total of 287 lawmakers voted in favor of the revised budget bill, which allocates a portion of funds initially set for flood control projects toward key priority sectors such as education for the coming year. Only 12 lawmakers voted against the passage of the spending plan. Those who opposed the 6.7 trillion budget include ML Party List Representative Leila de Lima, Akbayan Representatives Percy Cerdanya, Chel Jokno, and Dada Ismula, ACT Teachers Party List Representative Antonio Tino, Kabataan Party List Representative Renico, Gabriela Women's Party List Representative Sara Elago, Dinagat Islands Representative Kaka Bagao, Albay Representative KRIZZA Lagman, Caloocan Representative Edgar Erice, Batangas Representative Leandro Lebiste, and Sagi Party List Representative Paulo Henry Marcoleta. In his privileged speech, House Speaker Boji D acknowledged that the proposed budget may not be perfect, but assured the public that no hidden or discretionary funds were inserted in the measure. He emphasized that every peso allocated is meant to return the taxpayers' money to the people through expanded opportunities and improved public services.
Mga minamahal kong kasama, maaaring hindi perpekto ang ating budget. Ngunit ito ay malinaw na simula ng bagong hamon sa ating paglilingkod. Ang unang hakbang sa ating paglalakbay tungo sa isang tunay na budget ng bayan, bukas at tapat sa sambayanan. Isang budget na ginawa sa liwanag, hindi sa dilim, na pinagtuunan ng sapat na oras at ng ibabaw ang puso at ang ating isip.
However, based on the version passed by the House, the 243 billion pesos on program appropriations remain intact in the budget. For lawmakers such as De Lima, Cerdanya, Jokno, and Erice, the unprogrammed funds continues to be problematic provision, saying the chamber failed to address public demands for stronger anti-corruption safeguards.
Pero higit sa lahat, sa 2026 budget, tuloy pa rin ang ligaya dahil meron pa rin unprogrammed appropriations. 243 billion pesos na basta lang ipinauubaya sa Executive Department kahit hindi malinaw kung paano ito gagamitin at kung saan ito mapupunta. Imbis na matuto tayo sa mga ghost projects sa nakaraan, hindi pa rin natutuldukan ang korupsyon.
This budget process was our opportunity to answer the persistent calls from the people to expunge the vestiges of corruption. But sadly, we still missed the call of the times. Ang lantarang pangungurakot sa pera ng taong bayan at patuloy na pang-abuso ay produkto ng pagkabigo ng mga kapulungan ng Kongreso.
I firmly believe, Madam Speaker, it's time to stop having unprogrammed appropriations in the national budget. Hindi lang dapat ito i-zero, kundi dapat ay no, wala na dapat unprogrammed funds sa general appropriation.
Unprogrammed funds have no definite source of financing. Without a clear revenue basis, Congress cannot constitutionally authorize such appropriations.
Meanwhile, the palace expressed respect for the role of the opposition but maintained that the unprogrammed funds are necessary. Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro explained that the government must have access to additional resources for emergency response and disaster relief operations.
Sa palagay po at sa tingin ng pamahalaan, lalo-lalo na po ng DBM, sinasabi po natin ang budget, lalo-lalo na po sa unprogrammed appropriations, ay kinakailangan po. Lalong-lalo na po ito. Hindi po ba nagkakaroon po tayo ng sinasabi natin magkakaroon ng pag-deplete ng funds ng NDRRM dahil sa maraming nagiging kalamidad sa ngayon. Sa ngayon po, kapag po na-deplete yan at naubos na po ang contingent funds, dyan po naman kukuha sa unprogrammed appropriations mula sa sagip. Kaya po, tandaan po natin, kahit po ito ay nasa unprogrammed appropriations, iingatan po ang budget na to at hindi naman po agad ito mailalabas para katakutan nila at sasabihin magiging pork barrel lamang.
Despite persistent concerns about the fund misuse and corruption, Malacanang assured the public that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will enforce stricter monitoring on fund utilization to prevent wastage and ensure transparency. This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News.
The Department of Budget and Management defended the existence of unprogrammed funds, asserting that these funds serves as a contingency fund in times of calamities and disaster. Mia Layagin has more.
With the ongoing deliberations on the proposed national budget for 2026, lawmakers became more critical regarding its program and unprogrammed funds. This is amidst the flood control scandal which was allegedly made under the unprogrammed appropriations, leading to a House motion to remove the UAs but was rejected. Unprogrammed appropriations are funds without particular allocations yet during the time that the proposed budget was approved, hence will only be named once it is released. The Department of Budget and Management on Tuesday defended the existence of unprogrammed funds, underscoring that these are mostly used when there is a calamity. DBM Secretary Amanda Pangandaman described UAs as the government's financial lifeline during calamity, as this is mostly the source of emergency funds for quicker calamity response. She cited recent approval of the release of an additional 5 billion pesos to fund assistance to individuals in crisis situations program, which was from the fiscal year 2025 General Appropriations Act or GAA. These additional funding aims to benefit over 400,000 individuals under crisis situations from October until the end of the year. Pangandaman argued that unprogrammed funds are not secret funds, rather these are standby allocations used during urgent situations as authorized by the Congress. She noted that under normal circumstances, unprogrammed appropriations fund Rice Farmers Assistance, AIX and Food Stamp Program of DSWD, higher education subsidies, health infrastructures, renewable energy, and national defense modernization. On Tuesday, Pangandaman also appeared before the Independent Commission for Infrastructure to share knowledge and insights related to the processes involving the National Expenditure Program in GAA. She explained the release process of UAs as well as the request and proposals to be included in the NEP. Amid this, the Secretary clarified that DBM has no participation in the budget insertion process and that realignment or amendments are solely made under the power of the Congress. The Malacanang Palace, on the other hand, supported DBM's position on unprogrammed funds, emphasizing its significance amidst crisis situations. Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro underscored that unprogrammed funds will support calamity response funding, given that NDRRMC's funds depleted after consecutive disasters. Castro said that she understands the worry over the UAs but assured that the President will not allow the budget to be plundered.
Tandaan po natin, kahit po ito ay nasa unprogrammed appropriations, iingatan po ang budget na to at hindi naman po agad ito mailalabas para katakutan nila at sasabihin magiging pork barrel lamang. Ngayon po, sabi nga natin, ang Pangulo mismo ang nagpapaimbestiga patungkol dito sa mga maanumalyang paggamit ng pondo para sa flood control projects. Mas lalo pong pag-iingatan ng Pangulo ang budget na ito para po mas maging maganda at hindi malustay ang pera kung saan-saan.
This is Mia Layagin for Eurotv News.
The Philippine Stock Exchange has dismissed as false the claims of supposed expert alleging a 5 trillion pesos lost in market capitalization since December 2024. Here's the report.
The Philippine Stock Exchange has denied the pseudo-expert statement that the country's economy had a wipeout since 2024. In a statement released by former Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP Executive Director for Investor Relations, Cora Guidote, she said that 5 trillion pesos has been lost in the Philippines market capitalization since December last year. However, according to the PSE, there are two tracks in market capitalization, the domestic and total, both of which are stated in the PSE's primary listing. The PSE said that the domestic MCAP only decreased over 273 billion pesos or 1.88% year to date, while currently it is only 4.43% or more than 886 billion pesos decrease during the same period. PSE emphasized that it is fake news that the MCAP has lost trillions of pesos this year. Special Assistant to the President for Investment and Economic Affairs, Frederick Go, has previously denied Guidote's statement. Go said the Securities and Exchange Commission also declared the social media post as fake news based on the SEC's quotation. Alyansa ng Bantay sa Kapayapaan at Demokrasya Chairman Emeritus Dr. Jose Antonio Guisha also defended the government, saying that the Marcos administration is continuing its effort to restore investment in the country. Guisha also denounced the spread of misinformation in the country and said that factual information has a greater impact on the economic growth. This is ALVIN PELOBELLO for Eurotv News.
Following his resignation, former House Speaker Martin Romualdez took his oath before the Independent Commission for Infrastructure or ICI. He assured his full cooperation in the flood control scandal investigation into which he was allegedly involved. Mia Layagin has more.
Since the flood control scandal broke out, the name of former House Speaker and later 1st District Representative Martin Romualdez were among those tagged in the issue. Amidst the questions and allegations, Romualdez resigned as the Speaker of the House, aiming to face the accusations better even after claims of innocence. During the past Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearings, Romualdez was tagged as one of the proponents of kickbacks from government projects. Former Senate President Francis Cheese Escudero, whose name was also tagged in the controversy, pointed Romualdez as someone behind the scandal. Despite the accusations, Romualdez firmly denied ties with the anomaly, expressing commitment to cooperate in uncovering the truth. Last week, the Independent Commission for Infrastructure invited Romualdez to face the commission leading the investigation on the scandal. On Tuesday, Romualdez appeared before the ICI, vowing to spill all the information he knows regarding the budget process if this will be significant in uncovering the truth. In an official statement, Romualdez also stood his ground, arguing that he has nothing to hide and that his appearance aims to be of help in clarifying the issue. He also said that he hopes that through his participation, the investigation will progress and come up with a resolution without delay. This is Mia Layagin for Eurotv News.
The Philippine Coast Guard and Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources successfully completed a supply mission to Filipino fishermen in Bajo de Masinloc and Escoda Shoal despite repeated harassment from Chinese vessels. Henry Nicolas with the report.
The Philippine Coast Guard and the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources successfully distributed fuel subsidies, food supplies, and crushed ice to nearly 100 Filipino fishing boats in Bajo de Masinloc and Escoda Shoal on Monday. But before this, the mission of the PCG and BFAR was not easy after they experienced water cannon and dangerous maneuvers from the Chinese Coast Guard and Chinese maritime militia vessels. In a video shared by PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, J. Tariela, the Chinese maritime forces approached dangerously close, activating their water cannons as a clear threat against the BFAR vessels. On the same day, when CCG vessel with bow number 21559 fired its water cannon directly at the BRP Dato Pagbuaya, hitting the vessel just 3 minutes later, the same CCG vessel deliberately rammed the stern of the BRP Dato Pagbuaya, causing minor structural damage, but no injuries to the crew. They also recorded a video of one high-speed response boat trying to obstruct the aid effort.
Sabit! Teka dyan!
Despite these bullying tactics and aggressive actions, the PCG and BFAR remain resolute. The mission reached more than 50 fishing boats in Bajo de Masinloc and over 40 in Escoda Shoal, providing an estimated 120,000 liters of fuel, more than 600 grocery packs, and facilitating the sale of 30 tons of fresh fish catch to the government by local fishermen. In Bajo de Masinloc, the PCG vessels BRP Teresa Magbanwa and BRP Cape San Agustin alongside the MV Mamalakaya and 6 BFAR patrol boats executed the distribution despite significant challenges. Philippine government vessels encountered dangerous maneuvers and blocking actions from 11 China Coast Guard vessels and 11 Chinese maritime militia vessels, 1 PLA Navy helicopter and 3 PLA Navy vessel, delaying the delivery process. This KBBM initiative reflects the Philippine government's broader efforts to promote food security, economic resilience, and maritime rights in the face of China's bullying activities in the West Philippine Sea. This is Henry Nicolas for Eurotv News.
The driver of a transportation official who went viral as a VIP driver faces sanction before the Land Transportation Office following the issuance of a show-cause order. The LTO chief has ordered a revocation of the driver's license and the impoundment of the vehicle. Here's my report.
The driver of Transportation Undersecretary Ricky Alfonso, who was involved in the viral VIP video, has appeared before the Land Transportation Office or LTO. The driver surrendered to the agency along with the same SUV seen in the viral clip, the vehicle that used a blinker and a number 10 protocol plate. During his appearance, the driver personally removed the unauthorized blinker but refused to surrender the protocol plate used in the incident. Because of this, LTO Assistant Secretary Marcos Lacanilao recommended the revocation of the driver's license and ordered that the SUV be placed under impound. It can be recalled that the LTO earlier issued a show-cause order to the driver of Yusek Alfonso in connection with a road rage incident. In the viral video, the driver was heard claiming that they were VIPs while threatening the driver of a multicab, even saying he could be shot. It can also be heard in the video that the multicab driver was punched by Alfonso's security.
Ganito ka, Babel? Dito ako, putang ina, video nyo ngayon. Pare, VIP, huwag kang ganon. Hindi! Mababa! VIP! Anong hindi? Dapat kayo. Gaya nyo lang sa BR, sir. Pero di kami ganyan. Bro, guardian tayo, bro, ha? Bawal tayo ng guardian, bro, ha? Oo. Alam pa rin, delikado ginagawa niya. Hindi namin alam, baka mabaril na. Kasi ginanong-ganong kami, no? VIP yung dala namin, naka-blinker na kami, ha? Nung una, hindi kami naka-blinker. Pare, dinat kami.
Following the viral video, ASEC Lacanilao directed Renante G. Militante, Chief of the LTO Intelligence and Investigation Division, to conduct a full investigation into the incident. This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News.
Aiming to assist Cagayan farmers with farm irrigation, President Marcos led the inauguration of the Union Water Impounding Dam, which also serves as a flood control project in Clavera, Cagayan. Vanessa Cleophas with the report.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. led the inauguration of the Union Water Impounding Dam in Clavera, Cagayan, together with the National Irrigation Administration or NIA and the Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH. The project aims to irrigate more than 3,600 hectares of farmland, benefiting over 8,000 farmers from 7 barangays. According to the DPWH, the dam will also serve as flood control infrastructure equipped with slope protection that will collect rainwater to help prevent severe flooding in Cagayan, particularly in areas where farmlands are often affected. During the Ugnayan dialogue with farmers, the President emphasized the vital role of farmers in ensuring food security, saying that projects like this, which directly benefit them, should be among the government's top priority. The President also stressed that the newly inaugurated dam is proof that the DPWH is capable of building effective and beneficial flood control projects, unlike the anomalous ones in the past that were allegedly corrupted by some contractors. The dam, which cost over 750 million pesos was completed in just 4 months. Meanwhile, the impounding dam is part of the Katubigan or Kalsada Tungo sa Patubigan program, a joint initiative of the NIA and DPWH. This is Vanessa Cleofas for Eurotv News.
Due to the series of tremors happening in Davao Oriental, the provincial government has decided to place the area under state of calamity until its recovery. Graciela Corazon tells us more.
The provincial government of Davao Oriental has declared a state of calamity in the entire province based on existing laws, in accordance with the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council or PDRRMC. This is after the province of Davao Oriental was rocked by magnitude 7.4 and 6.8 earthquakes on October 10, 2025. In response, Governor Nelson L. Dayang-Hirang immediately directed all government agencies to launch immediate relief operations and expedite rehabilitation efforts in areas severely affected by the recent earthquakes. Due to declaration, the provincial government can use emergency funds to finance necessary actions to help the affected communities. Meanwhile, a price freeze has also been implemented in said province in accordance with resolution issued by the Sangguniang Panlalawigan of Davao Oriental from October 13 to December 12, 2025 unless it is lifted earlier. Any violation of the price freeze implemented is punishable by imprisonment for 1 year to 10 years, fine of 1,000 to 1 million, and the sentence can be same depending the direction of the court. Monitoring and response by various agencies continue to ensure the safety and welfare of the peoples of Davao Oriental. This is Graciela Corazon for Eurotv News.
The Department of Labor and Employment has approved a wage hike for Central Zone workers. Starting October 30, provincial workers in the Central Zone will receive an additional 50 pesos to 80 pesos on their payday wage rate. Shai Morales with the report.
The proposed increase in the minimum wage for workers in Central Luzon has been approved and will take effect on October 30 this year. According to the wage order released by the Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE, the National Wages and Productivity Commission, or NWPC, and the Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board 3, minimum wage earners will receive an increase of 50 pesos to 80 pesos per day in its full implementation. Under Wage Order Number RB 326, workers in Bataan, Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, Tarlac, and Zambales will get an initial 20 pesos wage increase for those in the non-agriculture, agriculture, and retail and service sectors, followed by another 30 pesos for the second tranche. For Aurora Province, wage earners in the non-agriculture and agriculture sectors will get 30 pesos in both phases, while those in the retail and service sector will receive 40 pesos in both the two tranches. Meanwhile, under Wage Order Number RB3DW05, domestic workers in the region will also get an additional 500 pesos increase, raising their monthly pay from 6,000 pesos to 6,500 pesos. The order covers all live-in and live-out domestic workers, including yayas, cooks, gardeners, and laundry workers, but excludes service providers, family drivers, and those who perform domestic work occasionally. This is Shai Morales reporting for Eurotv News.
In preparation to disaster, the Quezon City government distribute emergency go bag to residents along West Valley Fault. More details from Catherine Londicho.
The Quezon City local government is preparing to distribute its emergency rescue bags to residents living along the West Valley Fault as part of its ongoing disaster preparedness efforts. According to the QCLGU, the first wave of go bag distribution began last July, targeting residents living near waterways, creeks, and rivers who are frequently evacuated, as well as fire victims. This next phase will focus on low-income households in the barangays of Bagong Silangan, Batasin Hills, Bagong Bayan, Blue Ridge P, Libis, Matandang Balara, Pansol, Ugong Norte, and White Lakes. Also included are areas identified as high risk for structural damage or collapse based on hazard maps and risk profiles developed by experts. The LGU emphasized that priority is being given to communities most exposed to danger. Residents not included in the current distribution were also encouraged to create their own emergency go bags based on their specific needs and capacities as part of personal disaster preparedness. This is Catherine Landicho for Eurotv News.
Israel and Hamas began a hostage and a prisoner exchange. Hamas released 20 remaining hostages. In exchange of Israel freed 1,700 Palestinian detainees and 250 prisoners. More from Son Santiago.
Years have passed since the conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza erupted, a period marked by destruction, sorrow, and loss. But as we are nearly half of the days in the month of October 2025, what was once a scene of tragedy has turned into a moment of relief and hope, as both sides finally observe a ceasefire under the US-backed peace plan. Under the first phase of the agreement, all 20 remaining Israeli hostages held by Hamas have been released and reunited with their families. In return, Israel has released more than 1,700 Palestinian detainees and over 250 prisoners. Meanwhile, tens of thousands of Palestinians displaced during the fighting are now slowly returning to their homes in Gaza, following the withdrawal of Israeli troops from the area. These developments are being hailed as a turning point toward lasting peace, not only between Israel and Palestine, but for the entire Middle East. Speaking at the Middle East Summit in Egypt, attended by more than 20 world leaders, US President Donald Trump described the truce as the beginning of the end of conflict in the region.
Together we've achieved what everybody said was impossible. At long last, we have peace in the Middle East, and it's a very simple expression, peace in the Middle East, and we've heard it for many years, but nobody thought it could ever get there, and now we're there. Great, glorious, and lasting peace, and our commitment to fulfill.
During the summit, mediating nations including Qatar, Turkey, and Egypt also formally signed a comprehensive peace agreement, pledging continued cooperation towards stability in the region. The agreement also calls for equal rights for Israelis and Palestinians. It also asserts that future disputes in the Middle East should be resolved through dialogue and diplomacy, not by violence. Although the first phase of the US peace plan and the peace accord in Egypt have been implemented, a major question remains. What will be the answer forward for the discussion of a Palestinian state? This is Son Santiago for Eurotv News.
NBA players prepares for the upcoming basketball season, while Filipino tennis player Alex Yala fell short in Japan Open. Kyle Basa has more updates in the world of sports.
The preseason of the NBA is still ongoing, wherein all teams are conditioning themselves for the new NBA season. Certain teams are figuring out their lineups, especially the powerhouse teams that have a high chance of competing in the playoffs. The superstars are also preparing to keep themselves locked in mentally and physically, as the 82 regular season games in the NBA is not to be underestimated. For the rookies, the organization is preparing them as this is the best of the best. In that way, they won't be overwhelmed with the atmosphere and the intensity of what the NBA can bring. Even if it is only preseason, the stars are already raring to go, despite not stepping on the hard court in the NBA for the past few months. The rookies also share the spotlight and prove themselves worthy to play in the NBA with their performances. The main objective of the preseason is to condition all the team, whether it be the staff, coaches, and players for the new NBA season. It will also build good chemistry on teams. The NBA regular season will start on October 22. The Philippine representative in tennis, Alexandra Ayala, suffered an early exit in Japan Open today, October 14. Her loss was against Teresa Valentova of Czech. In this matchup, Valentova dominated her. She did not even give Ayala momentum and quickly finished the game. The final scores of the game are 1-6 and 2-6. Experienced an early exit in her previous competition, but the 20-year-old Pinay will also be exiting in this competition as well due to her loss. This is Kyle Basa for Eurotv News.
Miss Grand International Philippine Emma Marie Tiglao shows off her national costume at Thailand's Miss Grand International 2025. Sam Martos has the details.
Silver, sapphire, and midnight tones mirror the moon's glow, while the crescent backdress and crystal details reflect lunar cycles and...
That's the national costume proudly presented by TV personality and beauty queen Emma Mary Tiglao at the recently concluded Miss Grand International 2025 National Costume Competition. In a social media post, Tiglao also shared some photos of herself wearing the national costume inspired by Moon Goddess, Mayari, the lunar empress of the Kapampangans, symbolizing women's strength, beauty, and equality. Tiglao costume was made by fashion designer Patrick Isorena. Meanwhile, aside from Emma, other candidates from various countries also showcased their own traditional costumes at the Miss Grand International 2025 National Costume Competition. The preliminary competition of Miss Grand 2025 will take place tomorrow, October 15, while the grand finals will be held on October 18, 2025. This is Sam Martos for Eurotv Showbiz News.
And that's the latest news for tonight. You may visit eurotvpage.com for more news and information. Once again, I am KRIZZA Lopez.
You can also catch our live broadcast through our social media accounts and via an Extreme channel. I'm ALVIN PELOBELLO. Thanks for joining us. This is Eurotv News Trend. Stay safe and have a good night, everyone.